Kia ora everyone, here back again at the Export Beer Garden Studios for the ACC. This is the Benchwarmers, a couple of Kiwi basketball fans talking hoops, basketball hoops, hula hoops, hoop earrings, even hoops to jump through on home loans. We'll talk them all, mainly basketball ones, but who knows where this is going to end up. And if Joel Embiid is the MVP of the league, Joel Harrison is, well, he's making up numbers again, but nice to have you back.
Good to be back here again, and just happy that the Heat are just doing so well, which I'm stoked about.
We'll get to the Heat in just a second. We need to welcome our guest today. He's got a beard, kind of like James Harden, if you took a weed whacker to it just slightly. Still a good beard, though, Manaia Stewart.
Thank you. Real honour and a privilege to be here, fellas. I've modelled my game on James Harden, off the court. On the court, it's more Boris Diaw, but yeah,
goes to a lot of clubs.
Yeah, it goes to a lot of clubs.
A lot of clubs around. Now, speaking actually of Harden and Embiid, before we get into proceedings today, see that this week James Harden gifted Embiid a Rolex watch worth $100K at MVP 23 on the back. Oh, that's nice from your teammate, from your workmate.
You reckon that's going straight on Trade Me from Joel Embiid? If I got something that was worth $100K, it'd be going straight on Trade Me. I wonder if Harden actually paid for that, or if Rolex gave it to him, because it'd be a great marketing ploy from them, wouldn't it? Just to be like, here. Hopefully, Three Wounders in New Zealand will be talking about this on the airwaves.
You're right, because it looked very orchestrated. It was definitely not a quiet little, hey, mate, I've got you something. It was like, we've got media covering this thing. Yeah. So I guess you want to do it, though. If you want to give someone a $100K watch, I definitely want people, like, documenting that.
Or do you reckon it was just like a play for people to try and remember that Harden actually won MVP a few years ago as well? Because I forgot about that. I was like, shit, I forgot Harden was actually a good player.
He's still good.
He still is a good player. He's very, very good at the moment. But
just know that, because I know you, Joel Harrison, and Ben, who we work with in the mornings on another thing, on the radio, not the podcast. You're up for MVP, most valuable producer.
No idea how.
You're not going to get a Rolex from John or myself, just so you know.
Okay, so can you get a Casio?
Yeah, get Casio. Yeah, Casio.
I'll take Casio.
I'll go take it to Mr. Minute in the mall. I'll get MVP 23 on the back of it. Do you guys own anything? What would be the most valuable bit of sports memorabilia? Because I know, Joel, you spend a lot of money on a Warriors top.
Yeah.
Not even NRL, not even NBA, right?
Yeah, that's definitely my most valuable thing at the moment. The 1994 New South Wales Warriors jersey. It's in pristine condition, and I'm too scared to wear it.
You only just bought it as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I only just bought it. Probably maybe wear it once, and then just try keep it so it still goes up in value.
And sell it again in about 10 years.
Yeah, it's also about 4 sizes too big for me, but hey, that's a story for another day.
I filmed something years ago with All Black legend Dan Carter, and he was doing the jockey ads at the time, so I thought it'd be cool to get jockey, to get him to sign some undies. Had those at home. My mum came to stay and went, oh, there was a stain in these undies I found on the thing. Tried to, Jenny Boyce really got stuck in there as well, and got most of the stain out. So
God bless her. How many of your stains has she washed out in her life?
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have brought up that story. Hey, just before we get into the NBA this week, I saw the Aussie basketball team named for the World Cup. Pretty handy lineup.
Powerful.
You got Giddy Up, you've got Xavier Cooks, Patty Mills. There's a whole lot of NBA talent in there.
Yeah, would Xavier Cooks have been named to that team? I suppose he would have, but is it just because he's in the NBA that they wanted him in there? I know he was the MVP of the NBL, but I just wonder if they would have named him in that team. I feel like Aussie do a great job of just naming as many NBA players as they can to try and scare everyone else.
Look how many NBA players we've got. I love the name the Boomers too. That's just the best name.
Okay, Boomers.
Yeah. I expect them to play well and then spend the evenings watching The Chase at 5:30, complaining to people on Newstalk ZB, owning their house freehold, and then cycling to games on e-bikes. That's what I imagine the Boomers are going to be
Pretty sure you just stole that from Tony Lyle, another ACC commentator.
Some of that I did. Some of that we have been making jokes about. Hey, it's all, Tony Lyle, very funny. He does a very funny bit on Boomers though, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, he does. But also, didn't the Boomers, they got like a bronze medal at the last Olympics or something? Like, they're traditionally quite a good basketball team.
Oh yeah, they're great. The international game's a completely different game than NBA.
It's funny that, eh?
Yeah, the rules are different.
It's a real leveler, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, you can just park a 7-footer in the paint for pretty much as long as you want. And actually, on the old sports merch, what's the most valuable thing? You've got to interview Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh, wow.
A couple of months ago, and he signed a shirt for me. So, and I talked to him about that 2002 World Championships where we actually came fourth. Remember we had that massive run? We got into the quarterfinals. Well, it was Germany and Dirk who took the bronze medal off us.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I hit him up about that. Also asked him about our Warriors, our one New Zealand Warriors. He reckons it's our year.
Did he say that in the rugby league? He was like, hey, I know a lot,
Who are we to argue with Dirk?
What have you done with that top now?
So that's still sitting in my wardrobe, and I live in constant fear of accidentally throwing it into the washing basket because it was just signed by like a whiteboard marker or something. It would very easily come off.
I don't know if my mum's planning to stay at your house anytime soon. Please don't get into that. But
You haven't told him, John? You haven't told him
sorry,
about
Ben.
it?
you're not my real father, Manaia. But if she does, make sure she doesn't wash that top. Okay, that's good. Let's get into the starting five.
This is the starting five for the Benchwarmers.
Y'all ready for this?
I reckon the big lesson this week, we're kicking things off in the starting five. You can't get carried away with a game one performance. I mean, it's got more twists and turns, the NBA, than the drive from Masterton to Wellington. I don't know if you know that one, Joel Harrison. But, I mean, let's start with the 76ers, James Harden. Last week, we're banging on about the 76ers against Boston without the need for Embiid. James Harden was huge. And then the games 2 and 3, they kind of didn't really show up. And then they won game 4. So it's all square.
It's just crazy how in the NBA you play the exact same team within a space of 2 days, and you can lose by like a 60. The game score can be 60-point different margin. It's crazy.
Well, he went missing for those 2 middle games, didn't he? For the game 2 and game 3, he was like an overloaded delivery truck driving on that road from Masterton to Wellington.
Yeah.
And then for games 1 and games 4, when he scored over 40 points, he was like Mark Lundy, setting a world record for getting from Wellington to Palmy. No one's seen it since.
I reckon James Harden, he went from James Harden game 1, James softened game 2, James softened again, then James Harden again, you know?
I've got a theory on this, though, because as I said at the start of the podcast, I can relate so much to James Harden. Fat bloke with a beard, likes to play basketball, can relate.
Yeah.
It's hard to play 4 games in a week. I play 1 game of social basketball a week and I am done. Like, I can barely walk from the bus to my desk here at work after I played a game of basketball. So I think that's what's going on. You can't expect him to do this every night. He's got a puku.
And he went to Vegas. He did the Dennis Rodman thing before the series started. He asked Doc Rivers, the coach, if he could go to Vegas before game 1, and he was great. So maybe that's the thing. He needs to go out and sort of burn the candle at both ends.
He seems like a good guy as well. I saw he had there's a young guy in the stands in a wheelchair. I think his name is John Howe, and he was there for game 1 and 4, and they won it both. So it's like we need to bring him back for game 6. He's a lucky charm.
It was lovely, wasn't it? Because he was one of the guys that got shot in the university massacre, right? Big fan of James Harden. They did a FaceTime. He's like, I'll bring you to a game. Brought him to game 4. It was awesome. It was lovely.
Was it taunting to give a kid in a wheelchair a pair of his shoes?
Oh, don't.
I thought that might be there.
Don't take away a nice. It was a lovely thing he did. A lovely thing.
That was the first thing I thought. But also on the Las Vegas thing, have you seen this story? It was on Reddit a few years ago where they mapped out and graphed the correlation between the quality of strip clubs in the town he was playing and how well he performed. And they found that the better the quality of the strip club, the worse he performed. So I wonder if perhaps that could be weighing into his performance in this series.
Well, my mate Marcus, he's a huge Celtics fan, so I was going to give him a quick call because he's been going, the Celtics are going to take it out. But now it's 2-2 up for grabs, so I thought I'd just get him on just really quickly to see how he's feeling right now as things have kind of leveled up.
Hello, Marcus speaking.
Marcus, it's Ben here, Manaia here. Joel's here as well. You're on New Zealand's 69th most popular basketball podcast.
Great to be here.
Now, I wanted to call you up just quickly because I know how big a Celtics fan you are. I know in the group chat you were sending around memes. You're sending around yourself and your Celtics merch after game 1. How are you feeling now?
I'm feeling okay. After that last game. I mean, that was an amazing game, and you can't begrudge Harden for throwing up more shots and dollar bills than he usually does at a strip bar. But I mean, he was on fire, and using his lucky charm, that Michigan State University student.
Well, just talking about that was awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, awesome. So good.
Okay.
So good.
So
yeah.
Marcus Smart at the end of the game. Obviously, I thought he played pretty well, but he was the guy that they kind of fell on to take those shots, and he got the shot right after the buzzer. But I'm like, is it smart? Is it Marcus Smart to have Marcus Smart taking that last shot as a Celtics fan?
It's not smart to have Marcus Smart take the last shot. It'd be more smart to have someone like an Al Horford or even a Sam Hauser, big smooth. I mean, these guys are a lot more ready. They're longer. They're 6'9". They're both 6'9", and they just shoot the lights out from 3. So I think Big Joe Mazzulla,
who doesn't like
taking it.
A timeout. Timeout. What's he doing? What's going on? Is he not heard of timeouts?
So he saves the timeouts, but I don't know what for. And he's just come out and said, I regret not taking the time out. But the reason he didn't take the time out is because it gives them the play, and it means that Miami can't put on defenders. So they can't put on all their big athletic guys to then defend that play. So he's basically running the gauntlet, saying my five that are out are going to do the business. And arguably they did.
I think you're jumping a keyboard. It was Philly, not Miami. I think you've skipped a series, mate. Yeah,
I'm watching Miami. I'm turning it off.
Yeah, mate. You don't. I don't know if they're going to. How are you feeling? Are you confident as a Celtics fan?
I'm confident. You lose in overtime in Philly, you're okay.
All right.
It's okay.
We'll go around the room now. Manaia, what do you think? Who's taking that out? Celtics or Philly?
I think Philly.
Ooh, Marcus, how you like that?
How dare you?
Well, if the Celtics are going to win it, Marcus, how do they do it? Because they looked a little bit of a shambles in that game that we were just talking about.
Yeah, so I think they just basically have to rely on the Jays. So Jason Tatum and JT, as I call him. I don't know if that's I
like it. I like JT. Sounds cute.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an insult to Taylor Swift fans, and Jaylen Brown. I mean, Jaylen Brown is the man, and some of the defensive plays that those guys were pulling off in that game was outstanding. And he'd come back from that far back at the end of the third quarter to even tie it and even have a shot to win it was incredible. So if they can match the intensity they had in the fourth quarter, that'd be awesome. Philly, man, are we going to get another 40-point game out of James Harden? I don't know. He's had 2 of them in the series. That's too many for my liking. But Embiid is playing with that knee, and it is super dodgy. He doesn't like the brace. And I think Al Horford, big don't call me Al, even though that's my name, Al Horford, is just all over Joel Embiid. Like, it's awesome. So I'm okay. We're going to go back to the Garden. And Philly... Well, it's 2-2, but it's I'm okay. We've still got home court advantage.
All right, Marcus, we'll leave you to it. Good luck. Good luck for the series.
All right, thanks, fellas.
All right, Sam, mate. Joel Harrison, you're taking Celtics. You're taking 76ers as a split.
I'm backing Marcus as well here. Obviously, I hate the 76ers. It's a well-known thing. And I reckon Celtics will get there in 6. They'll win away in Philly. They'll do it in 6, no dramas.
There was a sickening moment, too, that happened. I don't know if you saw that. Grant Williams in one of the games. He got Joel Embiid just pretty much accidentally standing on him, but all 2 meters 13 tall, all 130 kgs, just landing on him. And the commentators were pretty, ugh.
Now, listen. Mazzulla already used his challenge. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Oh, gosh. And that was accidental. That did not...
I think Grant Williams afterwards was like, it was like I got curb stomped.
It was.
It was. Oh, I'm surprised he had a full set of teeth.
I got to be honest though, and I know you're a Celtics fan. I don't know where you stand on this one.
Heat fan.
But you've got Celtics in this series. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy either. I feel like, and I mean that sarcastically, because he is the most punishing player, it seems, on that team. Even his own teammates, you can tell, are kind of sick of him. He's always chirping the ref. You got to have more than like 4 points to start chirping everyone for me. So I got to be honest, when I saw that someone got their head stood on, I saw his lips all puffed up. I was like,
it looked painful.
At least it was that guy. Maybe it'll shut him up.
Sporting injuries, because I know you guys play a lot of. I mean, Joel Harrison plays social sport every 2 games a night, sort of thing. I mean, you must have taken a few things to the face. Don't go there. But sporting wise, I mean, I remember once in rugby, the corner flag flicking back up and hitting me straight back in the face as I tried to make a try-saving tackle that didn't work. So, that was something that's injured me to the face. What about yourself?
I'm normally pretty safe in sport matches. Like, I've had a few niggles and stuff, but probably when I was about 2 or 3 years old, I was wrestling against my dad, Mike Harrison, and I don't know what happened, but I dislocated my elbow, and yeah, I guess it's a minor amateur sporting injury
agencies or something like that.
Shout out to Mike Harrison.
Yeah, the parents didn't think I was injured, so I had to wait about 8 hours overnight to went to the hospital. But maybe that's a story.
Maybe
for another podcast.
You're a whiny kid or something like that. It sounds like that.
I'm the same. I don't play hard enough to get injured. Yeah. It's only like a twisted ankle or like a black eye here and there. When I was a kid riding a bike, I suppose that could be classed as a sport. I got my toe caught in the chain. you know where the pedals go under the chain. But because if you go backwards on a BMX, that's the brakes. So we had to go right the way around the bloody cog till it came out. And so that's why I've only got 5 toes on one foot.
All right, yeah, because you're from South Canterbury, right?
Yeah,
so
6 on the other.
yeah. So we can't get carried away with game one. That's the theme this week. Same with the Lakers and the Warriors. I mean, they had a huge game one. They looked unstoppable. Then the Warriors, as they do, they came back. Curry, Thompson. I mean, I feel like every time they play, I'm always surprised when they miss. You know, they're so good at shooting. They're
I don't know what the deal is with Anthony Davis, where he can look like Wilt Chamberlain for one game, and then the next game he can look like Joel Harrison. And
that would have been a better example. Actually, Jay Williams, we've got this audio. This was Jay Williams talking on an NBA show about AD. Have a listen.
Recall a superstar in this game that has such extremes. Like, there are times when I watch AD, I'm like, your ceiling is on the level of Jokic or Embiid, maybe better. But your floor is JaVale McGee, and I've never seen a superstar have that range.
Poor JaVale McGee sitting at home going, what? Why did you drag me into this? He's won championships. He's a good player. He's like, why? Joel Harrison would have been better.
Hey, social basketball last week, put up 12 rebounds, 5 blocks. Jamal would be proud of that. AD would be proud of that.
But how many blocks and rebounds did JaVale McGee put up in that situation?
Oh, probably about 100. Anthony Davis, it was like 30 points, 23 rebounds or something. And 5 blocks. It was crazy.
Yeah, so it feels like when I'm a huge Lakers fan myself, but it feels like when AD is on, the Lakers are pretty much close to being unstoppable, but then he has the games kind of like Harden and the 76ers, where it's just not happening every night.
Yeah, and then when he doesn't show up, they're depending on the sort of hodgepodge of other players that they've got. D'Angelo Russell, who was famously sacked from the Los Angeles Lakers for filming Nick Young talking about cheating on Iggy Azalea back in the day. Yeah, that scandal happened about a decade ago. Now he's back on the team and he's putting up shots. When he's good, he's good. But if you're LeBron, you can't be banking on D'Angelo Russell to win you a championship.
Well, Kim Kardashian's the lucky charm, I think, as well. Every game that she's been in LA, they've won. They've got a game today. They're up 2-1. But LeBron James, he was kind of odd. I don't know if you saw much of that game the other day. He hardly put up a shot in that first half. And then he came, was just passing it, was just making good plays. And then he went stormed away with 21 points or something. So it was kind of un-LeBron-like.
No, but he does this. He sort of floats in and out of games. And he goes, I'm just going to sit and see how this one goes. And then all of a sudden he's taking over the game and hitting big shots. I don't know. You're right. In the moment, you're like, what's happened to him? Is he all good? Is he injured? But then when they win
trouble at home, what's he thinking about? That sort of thing.
Then when he wins, you're like, oh, he's a legend. He's a genius. He knew this was all going to happen.
You can always count on LeBron in the fourth quarter just to dribble the ball, just really waste that whole shot clock and pull up, fade away.
Here we go.
More often than not.
Here we go. No, he does need to take it. I mean, look at me, like telling LeBron. I'm not going to tell LeBron what to do. He knows what he's doing. But his memory is amazing. We got this audio. This was the end of the game. He was basically in the press conference just recounting a whole lot of plays that just happened, and his memory is incredible.
Our shots, AR had a shot from the left wing, missed it. I had a fadeaway, jumper in the paint, missed it. I was able to hit AD on the cut, one of his patent jump hooks. He missed it, got off his rebound, missed it again, and then they lost it around their sideline, gave us another extra possession. D'Lo had a wide open.
So it just goes through. It's like play by play, just a memory, mega memory of the game. It's incredible.
If I asked you to recount your show from this morning, do you reckon you could do it?
I'm not bad at the podcast from last week. Last week I had, I think I made a joke about MVP, most valuable pun. I missed that one. It didn't hit the mark as well. Did a joke about the Heat being like a murder mystery. The Butler did it. That one missed. Did a joke about the Suns being like the Elton John, George Michael song, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. Missed it. I remember all the missed jokes that I do. So, that's probably where pretty much all the jokes I do missed it as well. But it's pretty incredible. And his memory as well always amazes me. Like, he'll go to a game and he'll be like giving handshakes. He's got a special handshake with everyone. Yeah. And then, Quinn Cook will be on the sideline, or, Kyrie Irving, and he'll go up there and he remembers their handshakes as well.
That's incredible. I can barely remember Joel's name most days when I walk in. He has to reintroduce himself.
There was an interesting thing going around, was a guy going around getting some, asking questions of fans outside crypto.com arena. And he had an interesting question that I thought I'd throw to you guys right now. Would you rather have $500K or dinner with LeBron James?
Are you asking me?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Like,
for me, $500K. There's not a whole lot I can do with dinner with LeBron James. I don't really know what he's going to tell me. Like, am I going to ask him for like tips for my set of my Wednesday night social game? Like, oh yeah, what you need to do is hit this fadeaway here or something. I don't know.
He's very tight too, so he'll probably make you pay for it too. So,
yeah, that's right. I'd rather have the $500K. Plus, I dare say that you could probably spend a chunk of that if you really wanted to meet him, and maybe buy him a $100K Rolex and then go and say good day.
So you reckon the money? Yeah, you're probably right. As much as I would love to meet LeBron James and have dinner with him, but I feel like $500K is a lot to turn down.
Definitely for me, $500K. I'm not on these big ACC contracts that you guys are on.
Oh,
currently.
Yeah, huge money for the Benchwarmers, right?
$500K. That'd probably be life changing.
It's Rolex money where I'm sitting over here, mate. It's Rolex. It's Rolex money. Now, Tom Holland and Zendaya were at the game as well, and the crowd, the commentator was pretty excited about it.
Tom Holland and Zendaya. Tom Holland spinning a web over there, a Spider-Man.
Yeah, so yeah, pretty cool. But wow. I matched the James Harden story that I always bang on about. How Joel doesn't believe me that I saw James Harden.
Oh, did you?
In a corridor
of a strip club?
No,
it was just Manaia Stewart after a big Saturday night, I think.
It was actually in Spain. I was doing interviews. It sounds like a really wanky story, but it was. And I was sitting there by myself, no phones, because I was waiting to go in to interview some people. And the person I was going to interview was Zendaya.
Yeah,
it was about to go on about Spider-Man. And I went in there and I was like, oh my god, I just saw James Harden out there. I said, hi, don't have a phone, can't tell anyone. Do you like basketball? And she's like, I like Golden State Warriors. So I was like, oh, you kind of bummed me out a little bit there.
What was Harden doing?
I don't know. He just walked past this guy. The lift's opened, but guy with a big beard had a Rockets t-shirt on, just sort of scuffs, walked past. I was like, oh my god, hey man. He was like, hey man, and then walked off. And then I was like, oh my god, I just saw James Harden.
How would you guard him?
And no, I don't know. I just sat there and I was like, there's no one around to tell. I text Guy Williams, who is a big basketball fan and was working on the show at the time, and he just texts back going, bro, it's 3 a.m. Why are you texting me? So even he wasn't excited by it. So the story that I met him, I mean, James Harden couldn't even vouch for it because he probably doesn't remember it either. So
well, if I ever get the chance to meet James Harden, or if I ever get that dinner with LeBron, I might ask.
Yeah, maybe that's
James
what you
ever
can ask
mentioned Ben Boyce?
No, funny that. Okay, Nuggets versus Suns. Actually, before we go there, let's go quickly. Lakers, Warriors. I'm hoping the Lakers, but I just can't count out the Warriors. What are you thinking?
I think the Lakers, man. I really think that they only need one more of those Anthony Davis games, and then LeBron will be like, righto, I'll take it from here. And I just think, and like you, I want the Lakers to go through. I don't really know why. I just want LeBron to get another ring. I know some people just hate LeBron, and I feel like it's just because his continued excellence for so long. People get bored with that. But I think the same thing's sort of happening with Steph Curry. And I think it might be done for the Warriors.
I reckon Warriors and Lakers in 5. No, Lakers will win the next two.
You covered your bases nicely there by saying Warriors, Lakers.
So we need to go back and cut any audio. Yeah, but it's quite funny because at the start of the year, Storm, the Snake, the old host, he was like, I reckon Lakers are going to go all the way. And
we mocked him for a good 10 games at the start of the year, didn't we?
And now it actually, I mean, they probably won't win, but like, it's not. They're so close to actually getting there. So
I feel like they think they can.
Yeah.
Like if you look around, we're watching the Knicks versus the Heat in the studio here. Like I think the Lakers could beat either of them.
Yeah.
I think the Lakers could beat either of the Celtics or Sixers.
That's a tough one.
Well, it does feel like any team on their day, as we said before.
Yes,
Nuggets, Suns, again, getting carried away by the Nuggets. They're up 2-0. Then they went back to Phoenix. It's 2-2. KD, Devin Booker, they're just pretty much doing it themselves, though.
Yeah, and so sick to watch as well. They're so smooth. I love mid-range shots. That's my favourite type.
Is that your favourite type?
Oh, yeah, big time. I'll spray about 15 ill-advised mid-range shots in my Wednesday night basketball league. They don't go in at all, but it's just great to watch these two players. And you sort of look at these two teams, like if you were playing 2K and your mate picked the Suns, you'd be like, nah, they're a bit overpowered. You know, they got Chris Paul, although he's out at the moment.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, it seems like too much firepower. But on the other side of the court, you got Jokic doing everything, and a team that's been together for ages, which is worth something at least, it looks like.
Oh, he scored 53, I think, in Game 4, and they still lost. They had a fight with the Suns owner in the stands. Well, the guy really sold it too, eh? It was the big
Are they going to fine him for flopping?
It was definitely a flop, eh? It was a WWE style flop.
I think Jokic is getting fined $25,000 US for it, which is probably nothing to him. But it's still a lot of money. But the Suns owner came out and said he doesn't want any action to be taken, but they went against him and they fined Jokic.
But he'll still play, I guess, in Game 5, which is good, because that series all locked up. Again, another one that could go either way.
It also feels like Jokic is finally starting to try as well. Like I guess it just looks like he's such an effortless player, but he's putting up these incredible numbers. Like every single playoff game has just been an outrageous stat line.
Averaging over 36 points at 60%, I think. So that's Devin Booker, actually. He's averaging him, but Joker's averaging over 40 points or something crazy. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It is out of control. But to your point, Joel, is he does look, because he's 7 feet tall, so when he runs in slow motion.
Yeah.
He always has this sad look on his face.
He does.
There was a Nuggets Clippers series, I think it might have been 2 years ago, and the billboard had a photo of Jokic and a photo of Kawhi Leonard, and it was the most boring looking photo that you've ever seen, and the caption was "Feel the excitement."
Two players who don't really scream excitement. Amazing players, but don't really bring a lot of personality as such.
Yeah, I'm just reading the doc here as well, Ben. It says you liken you and I to Devin Booker and KD as a duo.
Well, well, I'd like to liken us as a duo. I'd like to say we do all the work, but we're definitely not as good as them as a duo.
I'll take KD then.
Oh, you take okay.
I'll be Chris Paul, like, only available for some games.
That's good.
Be bothered,
we'll take you. Okay, so real quick, how are we feeling? Nuggets, Suns.
I think Nuggets. I think Nuggets.
Okay, they're going to power on home.
They've been together for too long. Jokic is just too good. He's the best player in the series, you'd have
They're
to
not
say.
deep, are they, the Suns either, too? Really. They're amazing Booker, Kevin Durant, and as you say, Chris Paul when he's back.
Well, Jokic was sitting on the bench in a timeout in the last game, and he was yelling, "They've only got 2 players. They've only got 2 players." And he's kind of right. They do.
That's like the Benchwarmers, just pretty much just the two of us, but they're not good 2 players. That's what I was trying to say. Miami and Knicks, let's get on to your Miami team. I feel like this is the only one that maybe we could predict might happen, but in saying that, I don't know, because it feels like Miami probably are going to take it out again today.
It's looking good, yeah. At the time of recording, 12:41 Pacific, Eastern New Zealand time as well. The Heat are currently up by like 10 at halftime, and they're looking good. Once again, I've said it every podcast. It's a Cinderella story. They've got this team of players who aren't actually that good, who are just coming together and they're making the greatness. So I'm happy to see it.
No, they've got okay players, but I know what you mean.
Yes, obviously they got Jimmy Butler and they actually have quite a few stacked players. But like, where are they even finding Max Strus, Caleb Martin, Cody Zeller, Gabe Vincent?
Just boring players.
Yeah, just boring players that just are playing well.
Low-rated players on 2K as well. And then even like they're getting up and down games as well. Jimmy Butler's been out for like a couple of games in each of the series so far. But they've got probably arguably the best coach, if not one of the best coaches in the league, and a lot of very similar players. I think they've got more undrafted players than any other team in the league.
Yeah.
So it's all these guys who just want it. They give a shit. They have a crack. Kyle Lowry for me is one of my favourite players. I get him in fantasy every year. He's just got.
He was tough through this year. I had him in fantasy as well.
Yeah.
He didn't play.
He was brutal.
He was kind of away from the team for a bit. He had some personal stuff I think going on, and then he came back and he was kind of on the bench and stuff. But he's really stepped up.
He's another one of these guys where they always say if he's not playing well, they're like, "Oh, he looks out of shape." But then if he's playing well, it's like, "Well, he's just so strong," And it's like, "Well, which is it?" It can't be both.
He's like 37 or 38 as well, so he's a very experienced player.
A few of the older guys get it done. PJ Tucker, I think, was 38 during the week. He's still getting it done. LeBron James, 38. I mean, it's,
Duncan Robinson, one thing I always forget, he must have one of the cushiest jobs for salary-wise in the world. Like I think
and tax-free in Miami too, right?
Yeah, and he's on 100 mil for 5 years. So he's getting 20 mil a year, and he plays about 10 minutes a game.
And all he has to do,
crazy.
And it's not like he has to come in and like chase dudes over screens and that. He just comes in, jack a couple of threes, and go and sit down.
He must have the cushiest job in the world, I reckon.
Now you tasked me of coming up with a song each round to signify, to sum up the round, some sort of pun.
Yeah.
This week, this is all I could think of. Bit of welcome to Miami, because that's pretty much summing up. It feels like the team for me that I know is probably going to go through the next round. I may be wrong.
Feels like you're putting a massive commentator's curse on them right now.
Commentator's curse on Welcome to Miami, and also playing Will Smith as well feels like a bit of a commentator's curse after all the Will Smith incidents of the last little bit. I was reading his book too, and I was like, I put that down. I was like, maybe this is not quite the book that I was led to believe. But Miami, well, what wonderful place. I only went there once for one day. It was about 7 o'clock in the morning. Got off a bus, walked along the beach, and there was a couple just hooking up on the beach.
Hell yeah.
As the waves were passing in. I felt like I was like, are there cameras around? I mean, what is going on?
Very Miami. If they lose this game, can we name the next episode of this podcast, Keep Miami Out Your Fucking Mouth?
Yeah, true. I've really cursed them. We've got to make a bet. Now, we haven't gone so well in the bets of late, the TAB bets, but let's give it a crack.
Play this thing.
Yeah, come on, play this thing.
TAB, good pun, good pun, good pun, good pun.
Feels like everything we bet on doesn't happen. Like I think last week we put James Harden to score 35 or more points, and he did it in 2 games. Not the game that we put on. The week before, the Bucks or the Heat to win, the only game they didn't win the whole series.
So what are we thinking, Manaia? You're helping us out today, which is great to have you here. Do you have any thoughts of maybe what we could put some money on?
You've got to go a bit more degenerate than what you guys are doing at the moment. You're betting on big games. You're betting on winners. What you need to do is get right down into the weeds. And I've come up with a little 3-league multi.
I like it.
It's the 2-2-2 for me. Al Horford in tomorrow's game, Sixers versus Celtics, to hit 2 3-pointers. So the reason they're playing him so much and they're not playing Rob Williams is because he can shoot, and so it means Embiid has to come out of the paint. So
gotcha.
So to keep himself on the floor, he needs to shoot like 8 3-pointers a game.
So you're hoping he's going to nail 2?
He's going to hit a couple.
Okay, stretching the floor. I like it. Okay.
He has that. The other player who's only out there to shoot threes and spread the floor is PJ Tucker. You do not see him move at all. He stands in the corner. He might as well be glued to the corner, and he just stands there, and all he does is hit threes. So get on him to score.
He yells at Embiid to get to, he's the guy who yells at players from time to time. He's experienced.
That's right.
But apart from that, you're right.
And if you could gamble on that, I would. But get on him to score 2+ points.
Okay.
And then on the other side of the ball, DeAnthony Melton. Okay. He's averaging about 3 steals a game. Now, granted, I think there was one game where he had like 6 in one game, but he's good for a couple. So 2+ steals for DeAnthony Melton. So we're going 3-pointers for Horford, 2 points for PJ Tucker, 2 steals for DeAnthony Melton. You multi those up, and that's paying $5. If we put our game day good punt on that, that'll be paying back $500.
Woo! All right.
That's a good bet.
I like it.
It's a tough bet, but it's a good one.
It's off in the weeds as well, but it's all low and it's very achievable.
Yeah, it is very achievable.
PJ Tucker only needs to hit 1 3-pointer, which is all he's going to do.
Yeah.
Al Horford will hit at least 1 3-pointer, so at that point you're just betting on him to make 1 3-pointer, and same with DeAnthony Melton. He's going to get at least 1 steal. So I think it's a very we're way off in the weeds, and also it doesn't matter who wins.
Yeah, exactly. I like that's
We're
very smart bet.
All right, 2-2-2. That's this week's TAB bet. The good punts are adding to our kitty for the end of the year. Let's go to the stat bunker. A few stats to run through and reflect on. 4 out of the last 5 NBA champions have fired their head coach. How crazy is that? Ty Lue, Nick Nurse, Frank Vogel, Coach Bud, Steve Kerr as well is the only one. He's the only one to remain, I think, out of all them, out of the 4 out of the 5.
I'd even throw Dwayne Casey in there, who won Coach of the Year for the Raptors, and then they sacked him for Nick Nurse. Now, it paid off because they went on to win a championship, but I don't know. It's such a coaching carousel, isn't it?
It does feel like that. Even the Bucks, I heard this week, they won more in-season games this year than when they won the championship a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But he's gone, Coach Bud's out, because I guess they got rolled in the first round.
It's so unlucky though. Like they were the most dominant team in the regular season, and then they just had 4 bad games, and then bam, he's out.
That's brutal.
4 head coaches have had no changes to teams since 2018. Steve Kerr remained at the Warriors, Pop at Spurs, Spo at Heat, and Nuggets coach Mike Malone as well. There are only 4 coaches to remain over the last. It is a brutal game, right?
So I don't think that stat is saying that if you win the championship, you're more likely to be sacked.
Yeah,
it's just that everyone gets
sacked.
Yeah.
At some stage, you're going to get sacked, pretty much. Even the good coaches. Joker, we talked about him being amazing. You compared, you compared Embiid to Wilt Chamberlain sometimes. Joker as well. Wilt Chamberlain's the only centre to score 50 points in a playoff game in NBA history, but Joker obviously did it this week as well. Yeah, so pretty incredible. He hasn't slept with 20,000 women though, like Wilt Chamberlain claimed to have done, which seems a crazy stat.
Someone did the math on that. It was like 3 a day for a decade or something.
I feel like he embellished that story just a little bit.
I want to believe. But every time you look at a stat list in anything, it's always Wilt Chamberlain that's at the top of those stats.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, he's the only player to do this. He joins John Stockton and Wilt Chamberlain.
Well, I mean, he seemed incredible. I haven't seen a lot of that footage, but it felt like back in the day, wasn't he playing against people that were like labourers and all sorts? It's like putting Joel and playing him in Joel's social league.
Yeah. I thought that was like when you were in your 20s when he was back there kicking out all the world.
Mate, we went to high school together, me and Wilt Chamberlain, that's for sure. And I thought this stat was really interesting. So the Lakers, Nuggets, Heat, and Celtics were all 2-1 up in their series, and they were the 4 teams that the 4 final teams in the bubble. So could we get a repeat of the Lakers, Nuggets, Heat, and Celtics in the finals again like the bubble?
It feels like the Heat and the Celtics have just been hanging around that Eastern Conference Finals so many times in the last 15 years almost. It's just they're just really dominated that.
Yeah, they really have. Well, if you look at the records, the Celtics have been there for the last 150 years of the NBA. But I guess that shows that the bubble wasn't a fluke, really.
Yeah, well, Joel always says it wasn't a proper championship because I like the Lakers. Are you favouring anyone in particular to take it out this year, Manaia?
It's really hard. This is the closest it's been for a long time. And it's really good as well because for the longest time, you just pencil in the Warriors and just let it go. But this has been so interesting. I kind of am leaning towards Denver, but I'd love the Lakers to win.
All right, let's get the alley oops.
It's the big alley. Ooh, it's not the one, It's not the one.
Couple of our favourite funny moments from the week. Now, dare I say his name? Bill Cosby had a show that's called Kids Say the Darndest Things. And
what happened to him?
Stay out of it, boys.
Let's not go there. But Draymond Green had his kids with him at a press conference. Risky move. He was talking about the kids joining him in the gym when he was practicing. And this is what his kids had to say.
This guy doesn't let me live it down when we lose. Daddy, why do we lose? How did we lose? What happened here? What happened there? And so, I'm last night I was in the gym. He was here with me. Olive was here with me. And, they love that. And so I think it's,
No, I wasn't.
Okay. And it just pushes you way harder knowing that they're watching everything.
The kid's a real leveler, eh? So I wasn't at the gym,
He can't have his kids courtside because if he's complaining to the ref, I didn't foul him, then his kid's on the sideline going, yeah, you did.
You didn't, neither did you. The kid's a real good leveler.
Yeah.
Remember, one of the best burns my daughter, actually, I don't think she meant it, but just after our TV show, John and Ben got cancelled, we were going to the park and we've got like a big fluffy white dog, a Samoyed dog. It's quite a cute dog. And this lady come up and goes, can I get a photo with your dog? I'm like, yeah, sweet. So I was sort of standing away, holding the lead, trying to get out of this photo for the dog. She was happy. She walked off and my daughter just turned to me. She must have been about 7 or 8 at the time and just went, remember when people used to get photos with you, Dad? And just sort of patronisingly patted me on the back. I was like, yeah, thanks, Indy. That was
why would you bring it up?
TV show's just been cancelled. I'll go cry in the car.
If it makes you feel any better, I'd love to get a photo with your dog.
Yeah, thank you. I thought for a second he meant me, but it's all right. I'll stand out of it. I'll hold the lead for that one. This week, Doc Rivers was obviously, I think he was making quite a serious point, the coach of the 76ers, but everyone in the press conference didn't really feel like they were digging his vibe. There was a bit of laughing going on.
No, be committed. Did you think it was a push-off? It was a push-off. You can't. Did you? Did you think it was a push-off? I'm asking you.
It was like, he kept asking like a parent and felt like the kids. It was from the end when Jason Tatum sort of pushed off and went for the big three as well. And he wasn't happy about it. It did look like a bit of a push off.
It did a little bit. I love that they were all just laughing that he was asking them, just putting it back on them. You must get so sick of that shit as a coach. We saw Webby this week, the Warriors coach, the one NZ Warriors coach, getting fed up with that kind of thing. Maybe the city of Philadelphia needs to have a whip around so that Doc Rivers can say exactly what he thinks about the refs.
Well, that's what they're doing here, right?
Yeah,
in the NRL. They're starting like a sort of give a little thing so they can say, well, because in America, I mean, you're probably not going to pay for Jokic's fine at $25K and things like that, but...
Tell you what, if these bets come off from the ACC's game day good punt, we just might throw the kitty at... maybe Doc Rivers could get a cut.
Yeah.
All right, well, enjoy the NBA. Right now, it seems like Miami is still up, but still a little way to go in that game as well. We'll be back next week. We'll be coming to the end of round 2, heading into the next big events. The next big games for the NBA. But before we go, final bit, I just saw this. I thought it was quite good to end on. If Bradley Beal named his son Batmo, it'd be Batmobile. There you go. But
does he have a son?
I don't know if he does his son coming, but I just saw that online. I was like, what a great way to end. But don't pull it out, mate. Just end it on that, all right? Have a great week. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you soon on the Benchwarmers.